Oh, did she already start it? I'm sorry.
I'm guessing yes.
Okay. Is adjourned.
Yep.
If you wouldn't mind reminding me, just a quick question I had for you.
No problem.
So when I first pulled up the meeting site, the documents were there. And then when I click join, now the documents are gone. Can someone walk me through where to find those documents again?
They should be in your invitation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can go back.
Yeah.
They were just right there
Oh,
when
yeah.
I pulled them up, and I thought, oh, that's handy.
I'm so used to going back to the invitation. There might be an easier way. That's the
I
way.
like that you do it that way too, because there's some other meetings where you have to, it doesn't, connect in, it doesn't get attached to the invitation. It just is in a separate email. So that kind of makes it, I think, easier. Okay, so we're all set to begin. Thank you for sending the agenda around, Damon, and the minutes from the last meeting. So I guess the first order of business would be just to review the minutes. If folks had a chance to look at those, and then somebody can, I guess we do need to follow the regular rules, I think, for the subcommittee meeting that we do in the larger meeting, so we can, entertain a motion to approve the minutes if anyone is so interested.
Oh, I'll move to approve. I read them when Damon sent them.
Great. Thank you, Justine. And second was Liza.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, it broke up a little. Okay, great. Any discussion or questions, comments? All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay, very good. Actually, since our last meeting, everybody, which I thought was really helpful, and I guess in advance of the larger standing committee meeting, we had some action steps from the last meeting about who was going to check with whom, and it looked like everybody that we had thought to reconnect with to present in this virtual way coming up, and however we structure it, I think everybody did agree. I did follow up. I don't know if I sent the email around, but I did talk with Dr. Fraser, and he is fine doing it again in this kind of format. I had explained that we're going to break it into smaller, 2-hour blocks, spread it out over a longer period of time. So he said that was fine. And I was trying to remember just on that, because that was sort of in the to-do list. When we talked about his presentation last time, I think Justine, you had mentioned Dr. Linda Smith. Was that a suggestion that she could potentially co-present with him, or was she sort of a potential alternate, if you remember?
So she could be either
way.
of those things. They've presented together for the Law Center a number of times. And so if he was going to do such a huge part, it might be easier to have the two of them to bounce ideas off of. Or if we didn't want to give him a full day load, then we could do half and half. So I had not reached out to Linda Smith, though.
Okay, yeah, that's okay, because I think I was going to follow up with Eric and just say, we also thought if you think your colleague would be interested,
Right. Yeah, I thought we'd leave it up to him.
Yeah, exactly. So I will do that. I just couldn't remember exactly what we had talked about in that regard, but that's good. They've done the trainings together, like you said, too, in the past, or similar trainings.
Yeah, they're terrific. They're terrific.
Yeah, and I like that too, because it does mix it up a little bit. And even though we might potentially put his block into 2 separate days, unlike a full day like we did last time when it was in person, it still might be nice to add some variety on that. So what do you guys suggest? Do we want to walk through, following our last meeting and then in advance of the larger committee meeting, I had just done that skeletal kind of outline of the days and the topics. So we have that, and then we have the media agenda from the 2018 training. What do you guys suggest? Do you want to walk through, well, first of all, I don't know, what do you think? Go through the skeletal one that we just did to see if that makes sense in terms of the sequence?
Yeah, I think you just sent that this morning, right?
Well, this was one we had shared with the larger group prior to the last meeting of the standing committee. So, so you may have had it from that meeting, but yeah, I just sent, that's the one that I attached this morning, yeah, as well.
All right, trying to find it again.
So, I mean, basically, yeah, see if you have it there. This was just.
I think going through the order, make sure we get the order right, and then we can start comparing the two and seeing what we can just move over from the last training and what we need to adjust based on feedback.
Okay, yeah, I think that sounds perfect. So we had on that just sort of the draft, skeletal outline. We had day one being, and I think because we had changed this order up from the prior training, we had Judge Albus doing a welcome of some sort in the beginning to welcome everybody. And then we moved up the role of the AMC GAL to day one, because remember last time we felt that was kind of, we had it like later, I think in day two or something when we did it in 2018. So I think that makes sense. Do you guys agree for day one? We can do the meat of it in a second, but okay. And then for day two, and I think, are we all in agreement too that it makes sense to try to keep these in 2-hour blocks?
Yeah, not more than that. Although I will say, if Judge Albus does a 5 to 10 minute welcome, the role of the GAL and AMC is not, I can't imagine talking more than an hour even.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, because it's just the role. Well, you know what? Let's go through the whole thing. Maybe there's more to what I should talk about.
Okay.
That I'm assuming is going to be elsewhere. So let's just go through the whole thing.
Okay, and then we'll go through, because I think when you had done it the first time, we had it as a 2-hour block.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was. So anyways, but yeah, that's what we'll do too. If it ends up being a little bit shorter for each of these segments, but I agree. I thought 1.5 to 2 hours is more than enough time to be on a Zoom.
Absolutely.
Okay. So then day two, we thought, and I think, Damon, you had said, or maybe I'm not remembering it correctly, but Joe DeTuno, was he willing to do something, or was that on the courtroom, the virtual proceedings, sort of an opening, sort of plenary about how things are sort of operating right now in family court land?
I had thought that was going to go through Judge Albus, and somebody was going to check with him.
Okay.
About talking to Joe.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Do you want, I mean, I don't mind reaching out to him and as a follow-up to this meeting to just ask him if he wouldn't mind. Is that okay, Damon, or would you rather do that?
Yeah, no, Sue, that if you're okay with that, no, I think it's fine if
okay.
With you.
Okay, so I'll ask Judge Albus just to check in with Joe and see, and if it's not Joe, somebody else that kind of could do that. We were entitling it sort of the COVID-19 virtual proceedings plenary, just to kind of globally go over what's sort of happening. And then we had the two breakout rooms based on our feedback from the last training. So we were going to try to have a breakout room on courtroom practice that was for, well, I guess we could do, I was thinking newer, less experience and more experience, but maybe what we want to do is have one breakout room for lawyers and one for non-lawyers. What do you guys think?
So, no, I liked it this way.
Okay.
And the reason is because new attorneys, they still need to learn the courtroom practice.
Right, okay.
And non-attorney GALs can decide if they want to do initial introduction to courtroom practice, or if they've been around the block.
Okay.
So I liked it this way, and I probably would ask someone to partner with me in my breakout room.
Yep.
And I'm thinking I'm doing a training with Katie Bissonette from Brown, Payne, Darris, and Scott on Thursday, and so if that goes well, maybe I'll ask her to join me here.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, does everybody agree? You think that I think that does make sense, because then I think you're right. We can ask the non-lawyer GALs can themselves. We won't have to pick for them. We'll just let them know once the agenda is fleshed out. We'll say this courtroom practice, like almost sort of like a courtroom practice 101 kind of like intro to it for newer people, and then the more experienced folks, because some of the non-attorney GALs may be experienced and know, and they can pick whichever room they think makes most sense.
Yeah, and I thought for the more experienced attorneys, they could provide either ahead of time or come prepared to discuss scenarios that they've been involved in the past where they've had a GAL or wished they had a GAL and how that went and what could have or should have been done differently, those kinds of things.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. And so it'll be, so for your breakout session, it would be you and like you said, if you want to have them join you.
Yep.
I think
I'll let you guys know if we'll see how Thursday goes. I'm pretty sure it's going to go.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then who do we think, I mean, for the, the team or the presenter for the newer folks, do you guys have any suggestions about who might be good for that? Because I just had TBD on that because last time we didn't have a separate room, a separate breakout.
Yeah.
Folks, who do you, I mean, I don't know, like people that you've seen either train or people that you've seen in action.
Really be anyone from my office. I could ask Margaret Bozek. She's a very seasoned private attorney and then joined the law center last year.
Right.
I could ask her. If anybody else has any thoughts. I mean, Randa would be great. She hates doing these things, so I don't want to.
I was going to say, throw Randa in there.
Impose upon her.
Oh, she would be good.
She's very good.
But she just doesn't want to, she doesn't like to do it.
No, it would be like a month of stressing her out at the
Oh,
thought.
God, no, we don't want to do that to her.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that
That's
to my
awful.
friend.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe Margaret, or maybe and then Margaret can decide. I'll ask Margaret how she feels about doing it.
Okay, and then ask her if she thinks there's anybody else not from the children, like that she would know. I feel a little out of touch in the sense that I in terms of how people are in, practice, like who has good reputation, who doesn't necessarily have as good.
And we don't want this training to be like Children's Law Center heavy either.
Well, that's what I was thinking. If we paired her up with somebody else from the, who may or may not have a contract with our office, that doesn't necessarily matter, but that, let me.
You know what? I'll talk to Margaret and then I'll go through the list of approved GALs and see who else is on that list that we know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like, sometimes I feel like we're the only game in town. You know who might be good is Sue Cousino.
Mm-hmm.
She's a very good GAL.
I mean, let's do this because I think, I think she would be probably interested too. Liza, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, what about asking Danielle? I mean, do you think Danielle would be interested in doing it or no?
Oh my God, I'll tell you, I just had an evidentiary hearing with her. She's a really good trial lawyer. I don't know if Danielle ever does GAL work. Does she?
I don't know.
She's a great family trial lawyer, that's for sure. Or we could ask her who she knows. It might be that Margaret and I can do the breakout room 1, and then Danielle and Sue Cousino or a pair like that could do the more experienced.
Oh, are you doing the new? I'm sorry, I had you guys backwards. Are you going to do the one for newer people and someone else is doing the one for experienced?
Well, I'm suggesting maybe we want to swap it.
Oh, I see.
And Margaret and I would do the less experienced, and then because Sue Cousino and Danielle Rado, they've got a lot more experience than I do.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to reach out to Sue also to see if she would be. I think she'd be interested in doing it. So maybe we do that. You want to check with Margaret, and then you and Margaret would maybe do the breakout room 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. So Susan will contact Sue Cousino. Do you want to also reach out to Danielle? What a team that would be. Like, that's some serious firepower there. That's why I think they should probably do the more experienced ones where there can be like challenging issues that come up. Yep. And Margaret.
Yeah, I will. I'll reach out to both Sue and Danielle and see. I don't know if they know each other or have ever done anything sort of together like that. But I think that sounds good. And I can ask both of them as well. Other suggestions.
And my only hesitancy about Danielle is that I didn't know her to be a GAL, but maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe she's just a good trial lawyer and knows what is expected of a GAL, and then Sue has the GAL experience. Right. That sounds like a good team to me, actually.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll check on that. Okay. So anything else for day day 2? Okay. And then for day 3, we had, I think Dr. Humphrey had said he would be willing to
Yes,
do
he did. Yep.
Great, that's awesome. I think that's excellent. And we had that at about an hour and a half for day 3. I think we just kind of, and I think sort of one of the next steps will be to kind of, the presenters themselves can flesh out what they think, they'll want to present, but we can certainly let them know what was on the agenda from that topic from the prior training and see if they would want to tweak it in some way. Okay, and then for day 4, we had the beginning portion, because remember last year it was basically a full day of Dr. Fraser.
Yeah,
and that was a lot. So we broke it up into 2 days, but it's still the same topics. We had the family dynamics, trauma, and addiction.
What if we broke that out, Susan, and made day 4 family dynamics, trauma, day 5 family dynamics, addiction, or do they overlap too much that it's probably...
Let me look at the agenda.
If you pull up the one from last year, Justine, that's where it has the full breakout of everything.
Yep.
It really was. Last year, it appears one day was family dynamics and one day was trauma, mental health, and addiction.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So one is just family, like, yeah. Oh, yeah. So it was just the second day that was trauma, mental health, and addiction, and one was just sort of family systems, co-parenting, developmentally appropriate plans, all of that. Okay, so yeah.
So we can however we want to title those 2 days or break it up. I think that's right. We had, it looks like that family dynamics the first day or the first portion, and then trauma and mental health and addiction, right? Okay. And then I had on the skeletal outline there for that second day, the trauma, mental health, and addiction. Did we talk last time? Because I had TBD regarding on the addiction. I mean, he did cover that himself last time. But had we talked about trying to get somebody different to join him on that, or maybe it's something I could ask him about? I'm just not sure from our last meeting if we had talked about somehow breaking out the addiction part or adding another person. Do you guys remember?
I don't. I'm just going to go back and look at the minutes again.
I didn't see it in there, and I'm just, let me see if my notes reflect it.
So I know there's a guy, Steve Paymer.
Yep.
He runs Paymer and Associates.
Yep.
He did a presentation for us, but it was more about like
the testing.
Yes, the testing.
He's really good. I've seen him present. Yeah.
He's very good, and it's not a bad idea to add that little piece to a training of new GALs, like what to be looking for, what are the signs, what should you be asking for testing.
Yeah, I think it actually would be good. Maybe that is what we talked about, because I remember, this goes back quite a few years when I was doing the GAL work, and they had, and I think it was Stephen Paymer that, had first come out with or at least around here, started utilizing the SoberLink devices and things like that.
Yep.
And he's done a few trainings for the CBA section, the child welfare and juvenile law section, on the same thing, on what types of tests to ask for, how to interpret the results, all of that.
I mean, there are plenty of times when we get a test result and we just call him up.
Right.
We're like, all right, it says this. And he goes, and she's saying that she doesn't use this. And he's like, well, that's the same. Like, he just clarifies. So, yeah, I think, and I don't mean to cut Eric short, but
right. You know what I'll do? I think I like that idea. I think that's a nice concrete tool that would be, and even if it's nothing else, that the person to call and you can say, hey, you presented at such and such a training and I need help with this or whatever. So what I'll do is I'll follow up with Dr. Fraser, also ask him about Dr. Smith, if he would want to partner with her, certainly up to him. And I'll just ask him if he wouldn't mind. He may know Steve Paymer.
I would expect so. They're in the same area of the state.
Yeah, so he might. So I'm going to ask him if he wouldn't mind allowing, like sort of at the second part, maybe like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
on the
30
second,
to
on his
45
second day
minutes.
on the testing. Okay. So I will do that.
And then, you know, Eric can decide. If I were you, and if you want me to do this, I'm happy to as well. I would send him our larger, meatier agenda outline
Yeah.
to him regarding the family dynamics.
Yeah.
As a reminder of what he did last time.
Oh, yeah.
And ask him if he wants to swap the day. Like if he
Yeah.
would prefer
Oh, yeah.
spending less time on the development stuff and more time on trauma and addiction,
yeah.
that maybe we don't want to bump him with Steve,
Right.
you know?
Yeah,
But
that
let
was
him
my,
make that decision of how to structure that.
yeah, that was my thought. I wanted to make sure he wouldn't mind doing it this way and all that. And then I thought after our meeting today, what I would do is, and same thing with the other presenters. Do we have any duplicates? I mean, I guess well, yours, you can look at your, you know, your piece. But my thought was I would just send him a reminder about what, you know, the agenda that we had used last time, and he can organize it however he might want. And then I'll just throw in there the issue about, you know, potentially adding Dr. Smith and adding somewhere, you know, maybe a 30-minute block with Stephen Paymer, you know, because he may have, you know, whatever, other ways he might, like you said, not only in what order they would go, but maybe he thinks there's other topics that he might include now that he wouldn't have included last time. So I kind of think we leave it up to them to determine that. And then we can try to, yeah. Okay, perfect.
They know what they're good at.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. So I'll do that. And then now, I mean, I have day, what did I do? Day 6, 7, 8. We did, I think as we move into these next sections, we might be able to combine, or I don't know, we can see, but so for day 6, we just had the hour and a half, and that was Kelly. And I think, had she done it last time too, Liza?
Yeah, Kelly did it, and then we'll likely also have Rhonda Mora do it.
Oh, yeah.
Who is one of our directors of legal advocacy, but did practice as a GAL as well. So
for a gajillion years.
Yeah, I know Rhonda. I feel like too.
Yeah. She used to be at the law center, like we overlapped for a few months.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She was there when I came in. Oh, so that's the training we're doing Thursday, Liza, is for Rhonda. For your
training are you doing on Thursday?
About what a GALs need from the advocates and what the advocates should expect from the GALs.
Okay.
And I think it was an hour and a half enough time, Liza, I think. Or...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know that there was some feedback last time that some of what was talked about in either the family dynamics, or I don't remember if it was family dynamics or child development, overlapped because they talked about domestic violence. But I think regardless, I think there is a strong likelihood that CCADV comes in with a perspective on the impact of domestic violence on co-parenting and shared parenting that is different than some of the other presenters would have.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not going to be, we did have them when we go through the, you know, the meat under what was under each topic, a little DV 101. But really, I think, regardless if domestic violence gets discussed in family dynamics, that, you know, from CCADV's perspective, we kind of want our view of how this impacts kids and how it should be considered.
So Liza, would we move it to before Eric does his piece on trauma? So like that's sort of domestic violence 101, and then you could also add a piece about how GALs interact with DV advocates there, and then have Eric do his stuff as it applies to certain developmental stages of kids? Or do you think this is the right order? Because I was thinking the same thing about child development. If Eric's going to talk about development and developmentally appropriate plans, then maybe we need to move child development 101 to before his conversation.
I don't know, because like I'm looking at some of the stuff under family dynamics, and like, of course there's conflict sometimes that has nothing to do with domestic violence, right? Yeah. But then some people refer to domestic violence as a conflict, and that's not exactly how I would characterize it. You know, so it's hard, because I think that there still needs to be that discussion of difficult co-parenting situations when there is equal power, right? And then difficult co-parenting when there's not equal power because of domestic violence.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer.
I think that it makes sense to keep it, because I feel like you're saying, sort of there's the global sort of issues that come up with, sort of those equal dynamics, power dynamics, and conflict. It's almost like the domestic violence is a sort of almost like a subset that would follow from, and I think that way you can also not react, but kind of
that's what I was gonna ask them to make sure they watch the family dynamics presentation.
So then you can comment, because I think that'd be helpful to people to say, here's how you might handle a co-parenting conflict, or they might be able to say, Dr. Fraser talked about this as an example of how to deal with it. And however, if you add on the extra added variable And that, so I think that's probably good, because then you'll have more also to react to, and so that you can identify how that would impact how a GAL should handle a case, with that dynamic.
Okay, you sold me. I agree too.
But now I'm thinking, so I think that makes sense on the domestic violence ones. The next one on child development, I wonder, that one I'm more wondering if that should be sooner. It's sort of like
family dynamic.
Almost like because we have communicating with children and child development. I almost feel like our goal.
And that could be 1 week. If we're 2 nights a week.
Yeah.
We keep those two together.
Because I think those are kind of connected, and they're sort of umbrella sort of issues or skill sets and then we delve into sort of the meat of the matter, like the trauma, the mental health, the addiction, the domestic violence. I felt like child development was misplaced. Maybe we move it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find it in the meteor outline.
Right. Okay. So we had it in.
Day 2.
Yeah. My agenda is backwards from the last training.
Yeah. Day 2. Child.
Yeah.
Typical stages, how conflict affects it, risk and protective factors, and grief and loss. Because
the communicating with children part, which is, I know we had done, I got to put this in the right order here.
Yeah, now that you're saying it, it probably should be after. I think this should be much earlier on.
Okay.
Should it be for, day 1 and 2 are set, and then should day 3 be child development, day 4 communicating with children?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. So we're going to move, all right, so we'll move child development up to day 3. Communicating with children, day 4?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm thinking that too.
So the only thing that's making me think twice is that if I'm doing the role of the GAL and I'm talking about interviewing kids, interviewing parents, then communicating with children fits right in there, right next. But no, I'll agree with you guys. Let's move it to day 4.
Yeah, there's so much under role of GAL.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
How funny, for a minute I thought I couldn't fill an hour.
I know, because I was looking at it, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in that one. Yeah.
So we're moving day 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6.
Yep. And then the domestic violence will be 7. And then we had
then child development is 3.
Yes.
And did we not? Oh, we did want to keep this after Eric talks about trauma. Yeah. Okay.
Which one, Justine? You mean domestic violence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That still follows that. So that's day 7 now.
Yep.
Okay. And then day 7 will be day 3. Just taking notes. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I should have, do we, and I didn't do this at the beginning of the meeting or at the beginning of the last meeting, but in terms of the minutes, did we identify, or do you do those, Damon, or?
The minutes last time were prepared by Lauren. She's not here today. So, but in terms of, specifically what, as far as the minutes are concerned?
Yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't know if we had designated anybody to do those.
Yeah, no, she'll normally take them. I'm taking them today.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I was going to say I was going to offer Danielle up to maybe
Oh,
help.
no.
I take notes, but then I talk so darn much that I forget what the heck we said.
I'm staff to the committee and therefore to the subcommittee. So I'm happy to and consider that my responsibility.
All right, I appreciate it. I just realized as you're going through,
if I took the minutes, it would be discussion about agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
The end.
You and me both, Justine. Okay, so now we've got, and so there's just the last two segments. So day 8, and I wasn't quite sure how to structure this because for 8 and 9, ethics we had, I think, as a standalone, the 2 hours. Like, remember, we wanted to get the, so I guess, do you guys think it makes sense this way?
So, yeah, I think ethics, I mean, I didn't think that the ethics piece was very effective last time.
Yeah.
And Attorney Michelson's out. He's retired. So,
yeah.
But I can probably find someone, or I myself can team up with Bob Madden. I forget if I asked him. I must have asked him, but I'll double check with him that he's still okay with it. But I also feel like I was doing too much presenting. Mm-hmm. So maybe we want to find someone else.
Yeah.
And I really think that the best approach for ethics trainings is to really do sort of scenarios.
Yeah.
Where there was an issue.
Yeah.
And right. So I'm not sure.
Well, I wonder
what the 2 hours would fill it, but
I know. I mean, and we don't, the reason we were doing the 2 hours, interestingly, of course, the MCLEs have the 2 hours of ethics training that's required annually, but the GAL practice book section calls for 3, but we're not going to do 3, obviously. But I think the 2, we just thought we would give that as an option to people. But I don't know. I mean, there's so much other training, ethics training and other trainings that are done throughout the year. We don't have to keep ethics at 2 hours. I mean, it was more to assist people in getting their, meeting their requirements. So that's why we did it. But I don't know. I mean, we could probably fill up the 2 hours, I guess, though, if we had scenarios and questions and things like that.
So how many hours do we have so far? 12, 13, 14.
Well, it's 17. I was wondering if there was any way we could get it down to 8 2-hour days. So it would be 16 hours of virtual training that could be done in a month, right? If we did 2 days a week.
Yep.
With that 4 hours of reading.
Yep, I think we do it.
I don't know if ultimately that's possible. I was trying to think of where we could combine a little.
Yep. We could, I mean,
if you think ethics, so like, could we have, so Justine, you were questioning whether or not the role of GL would take almost 2 hours, right? So could we have Judge Albus, I don't remember exactly how much time was spent on View from the Bench last time, but could we have Judge Albus do his whole piece on day 1, and then the rest of that is maybe an hour and a half for the role of the GAL, and then do 1 hour of cultural competence and 1 hour of ethics on the final day?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that would be better. I just feel like that we went through the ethics, even we did, and I had created a number of scenarios for if they ran out of time, and they just covered it so quickly. Mm-hmm. And I felt like, I just didn't think it was terribly effective.
Yeah. And it ended early too, that section, because like you said, nobody was really, so
I loved the cultural competence day.
Yep.
And those trainers, but how long did they take?
It was an hour and a half, I think.
It was an hour and a half?
If I recall, they let's see what they were scheduled for, but it definitely.
Because they definitely filled their time.
Yeah, it was 3 to 4:30, and I remember going right up to the end of the session. So, but like you said, Liza, if we basically move the view, so day 8 will just be cultural competence. That'll be one and a half.
Yeah.
Right. We move you from the bench up with Judge Albus's welcome, so he can kind of do that, which I kind of think makes sense too. Right. I mean, he can, some of the stuff they wouldn't have heard about yet, but I think that's fine. And so that cuts out. Yeah, and then we'll make ethics. Is what you're thinking is maybe make ethics an hour and a half instead of 2. And that cuts out one of what you were saying, an additional. So that'll be 16 hours.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to get it into 8 days instead of 9 days. But unless we just, because a couple of the days.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we could do actually is we can put it at 8 days. Why don't we just combine? I was about to say we could combine. It'll be a little bit of a longer session, but maybe we could combine day 8 and 9 and do cultural competence and ethics and just have that one, be.
Let me talk to Kelly and Rhonda and see, given kind of what else will be discussed under family dynamics, trauma, and addiction, if they think, we really just need an hour, and then if ethics were to be an hour, those two could be combined into one day.
Okay.
Because Justine, do you think ethics needs an hour and a half, or it only needs an hour?
We could do ethics in an hour. They have to do a full 3 anyway, so they're gonna have to go get more ethics anyway.
Yeah.
And I think we could do the basic ethics training within an hour. I really do.
Okay. So either way, so that we can definitely then get it to 8 days for sure. And it'll just be a question of, Liza, what we'll do is maybe you want to check to see if
I think for now, let's plan on it being an hour. And, if they think really there's no way to get this message across, and maybe definitely one of the readings or assignments has to do with domestic violence,
Yep. Okay. So if we go with that, and we would, you're suggesting maybe for your day 7, it would be your section, and then we would put the hour of ethics there. I like that. And then we could, because I do like the idea. I like keeping cultural competence as a standalone training.
Yep.
So, all right, well then that would cut out day 9. And when we're done here, we'll go through it real quick and we'll just make sure we've got it all down. But that I like that, because that'll, like you said, if we keep it to 8 days and we do 2 days a week for a 4-week period. Yeah, and it's not overly taxing that way. You know what I mean? It'll be an afternoon or a morning session, whatever it is we decide, for a 2-hour block. And some of them are even less than 2 hour. So, well, no, maybe they're all about 2 hours now. So I think that will be okay. So that'll give us 16 hours for and then we're going to do the 4 hours of sort of exercises or homework. Do you guys, I guess what we could do, I like what you had said, Liza, is that we'd have at least one of the readings be on domestic violence. And maybe would we want to ask, each of the presenters because it might be nice for them to say if they have an idea of a quote unquote homework assignment or a reading that would help inform their presentation. You know what I mean? It's something that they could actually touch on in their presentations, that we could have that assigned prior to, rather than standalone random trainings or readings. What do you guys think?
So my thought is find from the speakers if there's anything relevant that they would like.
Yeah.
There, and then when we post the trainings, we'd have the recommended readings right then and there.
Yeah.
And then people can read them.
Yep. Whenever.
I think the only challenge with that though is if every single speaker sends a bunch of readings, read it if you want to, it is probably not going to get read if there's a bunch for every single one, and then they're not getting that other 4 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between having the presentation and saying, if you guys want to learn more about this, here's some readings, right? Versus you have to read this before you come to this discussion, because this is part of your 20 hours of required training, And if everything is just kind of put out there in the start, read what you want, I don't know, right? We can't, we have to expect to get the full 20 hours of people, but we can't expect to get more, and they can make the decision if they want to do more.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, I think we'd have to make sure when we're sending the final agenda out that it's clear that the 4 hours of reading. I mean, I do like tying it to, not like here's some other things you might want to read, but we tie it to the actual training, so if that makes, and we can actually put that in whatever agenda goes out, we can put a link to whatever the article is and say, this is in preparation for, this session. Do you know what I mean? Is that what you're suggesting? Something like that?
Yeah. Just making it clear what they have to read.
Yeah, mandatory. So we're gonna call it required readings, and that's what we'll have to just title it that way. And I mean, and I guess we can talk in a second about. I don't want to keep people too long, but we can talk about how the sort of the logistics. But that will have to be sort of just like with the MCLEs. It's sort of self monitored in the sense of but we'll make it clear that is expected and required as part of the 20 hours, because I think that will be important to do. So okay, then I can connect with Dr. Frazier about what he would suggest for his pieces. Mm-hmm. You and Liza, obviously you would know what you might want for yours. You might, Justine, be able to identify some. Do you think for the?
Oh yeah, I would have probably some cases, statutes.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, and then maybe do you want to ask Dr. Humphrey if he has some suggestions for his session?
Sure.
Readings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that'll get us. I mean, that will get us to the full 20 hours. I think I think it's broken out nicely. I kind of, I mean. Now, I don't know, and this is a question more for Danielle. I know poor Danielle's new to this. Francis had done it for so many years, and it was, all the logistics and everything. But and I don't think we've gotten too many inquiries about people asking. I mean, we've had a few of people sort of calling, wondering when the next trainings are going to be done. I know Francis used to have an actual, sort of wait list, because in the very beginning, when we first started doing these trainings, this was before my time here, they were like lines out the door kind of thing. And then when we did the last one, it filled up, but we only had, I think we filled up the 50 slots that we had, but we didn't have to manage a wait list or anything like that. What we did was, once it was identified, we just posted it, and we'll have to talk logistically how we do it with the virtual kind of training. But we don't have, I mean, do we have right now, if you know, Danielle, any list of people or any idea about demand for the trainings? Do you know?
I mean, as far as I know, we only got that one email yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Somebody inquiring.
Okay.
So the Law Center gets calls, not often, rarely, but maybe one a month, and we always just refer them to your office to sign up.
Yeah. So I'm just telling people that there's a standing committee that, that will, and any that kind of oversees the training, and when the dates are scheduled. I sometimes will say that, it's anticipated. I don't commit to anything because, then it can be misinterpreted. But I just usually tell people any trainings will be posted on the judicial branch webs. I think that's how we did it last time, Damon. It was sort of a link. There was a registration link. And we'll have to probably have a separate meeting just to kind of talk about the logistics here. But we did, at least in terms of notice to people about when it is, we, I think we linked to each other's pages. Do you remember?
Yeah, we put information on the committee's homepage that linked to the division's page where sign up took place and all the materials could get. I think the materials were emailed out, but there was sign up was on the division's page. We placed a link on the committee's page to that. Okay.
So I'm like the least technologically savvy person there is in the world. Like, I mean,
I'm second then.
You're second in line.
Yeah.
So I don't know the best way to manage the, the registrations for it. Once we pick the dates and all that. I mean, I don't know. Has anybody else done a training like this? Or we could just, set up some type of a registration link or.
Are we doing it on Teams or are we doing it on Zoom?
That is a good question. What do you guys think?
I know nothing about registration for Teams, but Zoom is very easy.
Okay. I prefer Zoom myself personally, but I feel like more people have access to Zoom than they do to Teams. I don't know that. I don't know why I think that.
Yeah, well, if they're lawyers, they have to have Teams.
Yeah.
Because they have to go to court.
Yeah. So, I mean, some will have.
We've all had to adjust.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to have either. I mean, again, I am not super techie either, but you don't necessarily have to have either Zoom or Teams downloaded onto your computer in order to participate either way. Each one has a browser-based version that you can watch a training, participate in a training basically in a browser window that is Zoom or that is Teams. You don't have to put a piece of software on your computer if you don't.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. How does it work with Zoom, Liza, in terms of doing a registration process?
Yeah, I mean, you can set it up so that the link that we put out in an email is actually just takes them to a registration page where they fill out however much information we want from them, whether it's like a name, company, email, whatever information we want from them. And then once they register, you can set it up where they're either automatically approved or it requires the host to approve them. So then, like, as a host, I would get an email that says so-and-so registered. So I'd go in, double check, make sure that they're supposed to be in the training, and then approve them. Then Zoom automatically sends them the link to actually use day of.
Okay.
I know it's more work, but that would be my suggestion. I know Francis had something set up the last time that when people went in to register, they had to indicate, I don't know if they had to indicate whether they were an attorney or a mental health professional or something. She had something set up to make sure that the minimum eligibility requirements to take the training were satisfied before you could proceed.
Well, I think we will put that in the form.
Right. Well, I don't know. I don't know that Zoom will let you customize it down to that level to say, like, it has the typical fields. Do you want their name? Do you want their company? Do you want their phone number? Do you want, but I don't know what platform did Francis use to do the registration? Because you could still use that platform to do the registration, but then instead of saying you're coming to the LOB,
exactly.
Danielle sending the Zoom link out and saying, here's the Zoom link for today,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So what we'll do is, how about this? This might be like, why don't we check in with Francis if we can find her. She drove off in her convertible Corvette, and we haven't heard from her since. But no, no. But she probably would love it. I mean, as much as like this was like the bane of her existence, in some ways it was. She'd be happy to help us out. So and I can look through my file too. I do recall though we definitely had a form that people had to fill out so that people were not able to register unless they met the requirements. And so maybe we just, like you said, use that similar sort of platform. To make sure that the people that are admitted. And then we'll have just the list of everybody that's registered with that form, and then we send out a Zoom link. We don't have to and like, I don't think we're going to be talking about hundreds of people. So I think we should be able to manage it fine. I mean, you know, and then send out either the Teams or the Zoom link.
Right. And we do just have to, like, we're going to have to break these 8 days up to determine like who of us is on there to manage actually starting the Zoom.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna record, hitting record.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll just have to break that up and then make a determination. Like, you know, CCADV has Zoom and we're happy to share our Zoom. I can check and see if it can be used for all 8 days. I don't know that I will be on for all 8 days. So then, you know, can I get, you know, a couple, you know, because I don't know if your other organizations have Zoom accounts, because you do have to run a training. If you want it to be more than 45 minutes, you do actually have to have the paid Zoom account.
Yeah, we do.
The free Zoom account is capped at 45 minutes.
Yeah, we do have the Zoom, the professional Zoom license, so we can accommodate that, I think. So if that is what we would need, I know we do have that. So I could use my login, my whatever, to kind of set it up. But yeah, I think once we identify the days, like you say, we'll have to have, and it might be us or whoever, will spread out the days and make sure that one of us is in the training to.
If someone from OCPD started it and then made like my day, made me co-host, they could then leave.
Oh yeah.
So they don't have to stick and watch the full 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and then I can manage the recording and all that stuff. And same thing for everyone else as we split days up.
Okay. I think that should work. All right. So are we thinking, I think we were trying to pick some days in the, like what month were we thinking? Were we going to try to, if we're going to try to keep it in the same month, July, June, I don't know.
Do we know what the judges are doing for judge school? Because I think we want to do it. And
the Judges Institute is at this point scheduled in June. It's well, I had it. Scheduled for the week of, right now it's scheduled for the week of the 7th, end of that week.
Okay. So that would be, okay. And does that end up being, I know we used to always try to time it with the 3 day, like they usually do like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday or something like that?
It's used to be, it's only 2 days now. So
oh, okay.
Well, there wasn't one last year, the past couple of years.
Okay.
The past couple of years, it's been just 2.
Okay.
I think we used to try to do it during that because it meant lawyers didn't have to be in court.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We're not doing full days now. We're just doing 2 hours. So.
And probably the afternoon, since we're only doing, even if people are in court, I think that the afternoons will be better for most folks than mornings.
Yeah.
So let's try, I mean, even we'll just start with our group. I mean, I don't have any plans. I rarely do. So is anybody on this call, like if we shoot for June and we try to do 2 afternoons a week, are there any days that like absolutely would not be good? We'll start with this group, and then we can each follow up with the presenters that we've talked with and ask them if they have any like sort of absolute can't do.
I would just try to keep it consistent. Like if we were going to do
Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday, all month. Starting on the 1st, it'll wrap up by the 24th.
Yep.
So Tuesday and Thursday for me are not good days.
Oh, okay.
So if we could do Monday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Friday, that's better. But that doesn't mean I have to be at every one.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and that's the other thing. I would not do Friday afternoon. That probably would.
Yeah, that's a good
very good time. I mean,
how about Monday, Wednesday?
Yeah, I think that's
Monday,
fine.
Wednesday, starting on this, let's see, 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, if we started on the 7th of June, Monday.
This, right,
Oh.
the only thing with the 7th, Sue, is that's, at least at the moment, that's the CBA meeting.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So
Okay.
you would lose some people that day.
Is that, and that's a full day? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, again, assuming an in-person, so on and so forth, traditional, non-COVID.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing.
You know, goodness knows what's going to be, but.
Well, then maybe that week potentially we would just do Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday. That's the only day, maybe the week where we would do it different. What do you guys think?
Do I have anything on that first day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so that wouldn't be good for you because you're going to.
Well, I mean, it's not like I can't move my standing
Well,
appointment.
no, we want to try to accommodate because we can set this however we want.
Well, if we started it on Wednesday, June 2nd, and that was day one.
Yeah.
Then,
Wednesday the 9th.
Then
Do you know what I
Wednesday
mean?
the 9th, and then Monday and
then
Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesdays from there on out. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Wednesday the 2nd, Wednesday the 9th, and then Monday,
Yeah.
Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, and we're done.
Yeah.
And it will end on the 30th.
Yeah, the only challenge for me is I will be away on the week of the 28th, and that's the DV day, but that's fine. That just won't be my day. Someone else is going to have to do that day. Kelly and Rhonda don't need me there for that. I'm just away the last week. It's not a problem, Sue. It's not a problem.
No, I know, but we want you there. You're like the expert. Well,
So I reached out to Steve Humphrey and he already replied, so he'll work on readings. And I did ask him if he had any definite no for
Okay.
availability, and June is clear for him. So
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
No, just stick with that. 2nd, 9th, 14, 16, 21, 23,
23, 28, 30.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So so that's good. So Steve's good. Liza, you're okay. It's that. You could virtual in from the beach.
I will not be.
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. Anyways, okay, that's good. I'll reach out to Eric and make sure he's okay. Oh, you know what? We didn't actually. I'm sorry. We kind of on the child development. I'm thinking of who else we have to check on with the dates before we kind of iron those out. Do you mind checking with Joe? Was it Jody that just?
Oh, Jody Oshana, sure.
Okay, and then I'll check with we had Christine Rivera from DCF last time, so I will check on that on the child develop. Did they? Oh yeah, they presented together too last time.
I think they did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't see it in the outline, but I think that Jody and she worked on it
Yeah, I
together
thought
and
so.
presented together.
All right. Any other presenters we have to reach out to? I don't think so. Well, Judge Albus, he would be on the 2nd.
What day do you think Jody would be?
Jody would be, since that's day 3, it would be Monday the 14th. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
So I can reach out to the folks on the Cultural Competency Committee, to Troy and to Zarin Kapoor, and check with them on their availability.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
And are we seeing 3 to 5?
What do you guys think? Or does that sound good? 3 to 5, or do we do 2:30 to 4:30? What do people think?
I don't know. I don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I expect to work until 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, 3 to 5. Well, you know what the other thing about 3 is that if there is an afternoon docket that people have to do by 3 o'clock, maybe more likely it'll be done.
Hopefully, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do 3 to 5.
You said Jody would be day 3, and that's
Day 3 would be, I'm just looking at the calendar, would be Monday, June 14th. 6/2, okay.
And so just while you're checking that, the cultural competency folks are on, they're on day 8, correct?
They are on, yes.
And so that's the 30th, that would be the 30th at this point.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, so what I think I'll do is, I'm gonna just, the skeletal outline one that we had done, I kind of marked up. What I'll do is just, since I know this doesn't have a lot of meat in it, but I'll reorganize it based on what we just said with the days, and I'll put the date next to it, and then send it back around. And then we can each check with our folks. But I think it sounds like that we have everybody. Do you have Judge Albus's, I don't know if you have his schedule, if you know whether June 2nd would actually be okay with him.
Probably too soon to tell at this point.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
But the sooner the sooner
right, it gets ironed out.
With him, the better off. The better the chances are.
So do you want me to email him too as well?
Why don't you go ahead, Sue, because you're going to check with him about Joe DeTuno anyway.
Yep.
I mean, I'm checking, and I'm just checking very quickly, but it's early, so
I know.
it's early in the game. But if we tell him, my hope is that he can, he can hold that afternoon.
Okay.
Or that portion of the
right, exactly. And 3 to 5, I think, hopefully, will actually work well for people. All right. What other? So I guess for next steps, I'll fix this up. Danielle will check, or both of us will connect with Francis to kind of frame out what the registration form should look like, and. What else do we need to do? I mean, I guess we should schedule another follow-up meeting, because it's hard to believe, but June will be here like blink of an eye. I mean, it's so crazy. When's the next larger meeting? Did we leave that?
It's the 25th March.
March. Oh, okay. Okay.
25th.
So then, oh wow. Okay. Well, what do you guys think? Do we need to do another meeting before then? And
we need to do one more meeting before that to just go back through the more meatier agenda from last time and see, are we asking presenters to do just that again? Are there things based on the feedback that we can trim out?
Do we want to do some of the, I mean, I don't know how long this meeting was scheduled for. Was it an hour or?
12 till 12:30. So.
Okay. I mean, do you want to just walk through some of that meatier stuff right now? Okay. I was thinking an hour, so I didn't want to keep people, but.
My setting aside 90 minutes was arbitrary, so don't, whatever.
Oh, yeah, no. Are you guys okay, or are you zoomed out? Okay.
I'm good.
All right. So we'll start with the day one. So the role of the AMC-GAL. Do you have that one, Justine, the meatier one from last time?
Yeah, hold on one second. I just got to dig it out. Yeah, okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Day one is me. No. Oh, this is the wrong one. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Which one do you see?
I have the old 2018 one open.
Yeah, that's the one we were looking
training
at.
Outline.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that one, because that's the one that has just sort of the the meat, as we're calling it, of the topics that we covered in each of these last time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So it was like you had the Karuba. Do I say that even right? I don't even know.
Yeah, Karuba. Yeah.
But you went over that case.
Well, if you don't say it right, the whole legal world says
will
it wrong.
kill me. Yeah, exactly. Literally kill me. The statutory requirements, the parents. I mean, the home visits, meet the clients. I thought this was. I mean, this was. I think a really nice. Overview of all of sort of the
much, Justine.
roles.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'll probably pare it down a bit.
Okay.
Because you'll end up having like an hour and a half, right? Figure
Yeah.
that Dallas will have around a half hour if he does the view from the bench that day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I put a lot of detail so it looks like it's probably more than it is.
Well, the other thing is when we do the day 2, you know what I mean? Some of that stuff maybe could go into portions of the courtroom practice in day 2 also. Maybe, I don't know. In the breakout session, you know? Or did we?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that, I guess.
Interview process, though, Steve Humphrey's going to take that over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely fill an hour and a half. No worries.
Okay. So that looks pretty good then, you think?
Yeah.
For your stuff. Okay. All right. And then, all right. So then the courtroom practice, once we get confirmation that Joe DeTuno can do it, I think that will be different this year, of course, because it will be kind of an overview of whatever he thinks would be important for people who are navigating this new virtual hearing, process to know. And so I guess, right? What do you think?
I don't know. I was just going to ask, do we think Joe takes an hour and then the breakout rooms are an hour? Or because there's going to be the virtual hearing piece, I'm assuming there's going to be the, what is it called now, Damon? Pathways or triage? I was calling it triage for a long time, but it's called pathways now.
Officially, it is the Pathways approach to family case management, but it uses
So it's all
triage.
new.
Triage is what family services utilizes, so you're not wrong. Not wrong either way.
So does Joe need a full hour to kind of go over all that? And then we go to the breakout rooms and there's still some more level of detail for the new folks. And then the seasoned folks are doing their kind of scenario discussion. I don't know.
Right.
It's so interesting because, I mean, I'm on the Facebook family law group and they're constantly asking, like, I just got a notice for a case date. Has anyone done a case date? What the heck is it? And so I'm wondering how many seasoned attorneys are going to want the intro because there's so many changes.
Right. Well, maybe it'll be a question for Joe, like what if he's able and willing to do it, how much time he would need and what he thinks would be important to cover in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think probably an hour and an hour. That's what I envisioned.
Okay. And then we can always tweak that if need be. If he says I'm only going to need a half hour or, whatever. I can't imagine. I mean, I feel like there'll be lots of questions. I think his will definitely go.
Joe told me he only needed a half hour to explain it to our members, and we pushed him past an hour.
Okay.
It took some time.
That's what I'm thinking too. It's probably, even if he thinks he could get it done sooner, I just think there'll be lots of questions, for people who haven't done it. Okay, so let's just operate under the assumption that's an hour, and he can let us know, what he thinks would need to be covered in that. And then, Danielle and Sue Cousino, if they're willing to do the one of them, I'll have them flesh out an hour's worth of material for it, so we can have it for next time. And then you and Margaret Bozak for the newer folks. Okay. So that really only day 2 is really the only one that's sort of new in the sense that it's just different subject matter, kind of.
Yeah, and different structure.
Broken up in a different way. Yeah. Okay. And then day 4, we had Dr. Segroy doing that sort of, we didn't call it that exactly, or maybe we did. Was that what we called it?
We did.
My thing is just backwards. Oh no, interviewing children, but we're okay. So we can add, Dr. Humphrey can spell. So it's a little, that one's new too, because we won't, he'll flesh out however he thinks what his agenda should look like. And then I think, let's see, day 5 and 6 now will be the family dynamics, trauma, mental health, and addiction. Looking at the Meteor one from 2018 of Eric, Dr. Fraser's, I'm going to send it to him like we talked about earlier. I'll send it to him anyway and see if there's things he would tweak. But what do you guys think in the meantime? Do we have any suggestions for him, or I'm trying to remember, the feedback I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. I think should the first day, or I mean, they can switch days if they want, but should the first day just be family dynamics and the second day should be trauma, mental health, and addiction? Because then we're also bringing that other person to do the addiction piece, or just the testing piece, or I wouldn't.
Yeah, so I had that crossed. So for day 5, I crossed out trauma and addiction anyways already. So that'll just be family dynamics. Yep. Okay. And then the second day would be the trauma, mental health, and addiction piece.
Yep.
So, so that may look slightly different, but like you said, and then we'll add, hopefully if Stephen Kamer's willing to join in. So, all right. And the domestic violence day, I think that was also good feedback. And I thought that, do you think that would still look similar?
I think we're going to trim it down a little bit. Like, I don't think we're going to try. I don't think we'll go into the whole thing we did on the Battered Women's Justice Project guidelines for custody recommendations is probably what we'll trim out of there. And then I'm just going to talk to Rhonda and Kelly about what reading or video, we could have them do to get some of that. So
okay, that's good. Yeah, because that will be we're putting that we're putting that back to an hour and then adding the ethics on the same day. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Liza, why do you think you'll cut out that Battered Women's Project thing, Justice Project?
I can ask Rhonda. So last time we did this, that's what Jerry did. And then Jerry felt uncomfortable doing it because Jerry's not an attorney, and it's not ours. It's not our document, right? It is the Battered Women's Justice Project. But perhaps Rhonda will feel more comfortable. I think the problem that will then kind of come into is that in and of itself was an hour presentation. When Jerry did it. So then we kind of lose some of the other stuff. I don't know, maybe we lose some of the other stuff because I think that's some of the stuff that got touched upon under family dynamics, but I guess I'm kind of stuck on the fact that CCADV probably has a slightly different perspective of some of those dynamics than the group might hear from the other presenters.
Okay.
And I think it's important for that to be heard, you know? So I don't know. I will talk to Kelly and Rhonda and see what they think, how we can best get the message about how DV plays into this in an hour-long live presentation and then a reading of some sort. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking at that again. That the booklet.
It's a good document. But
it is
a lot.
Maybe that could be their reading assignment.
Yeah.
Or for additional reading.
All right, so, and then, I know I went a little bit out of order because I'm looking at the old list, but the child development one, I mean, that we had, stages of development, family restructuring, how conflict affects children and how trauma affects development. So again, and maybe just if you want to check with Jody and see if she would change that in any way, but I thought that seemed to be a good agenda for that topic last time.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good. Very effective.
I like that we're going to move it up. I think that will, make some sense to come at a better time on the agenda. And then the cultural competence one, I mean, I think they have a standard sort of thing that they have been doing. So maybe they've tweaked it since we did the last training, but that's kind of a set. We didn't even, I think in ours, no, we did. We had something fleshed out in the meteor agenda last time. So I don't know.
I believe it's largely the same, Sue. So.
Okay. And that will cover it. So maybe. Any questions about that? I think we'll be in good shape in terms of the topics and stuff that we're going to cover. Anything else, or do we want to just set the next meeting? Like I said, I'll go over I'll send this training outline out again, with the changes we talked about. And then as we're reaching out to the individual folks that we were connecting with, we can ask them if you guys think this makes sense, whether it's ourselves or somebody else we've been connecting with about it. We can ask them, send them the training from last time as a reminder, and ask them to send us back any changes so that between now and our next meeting, I can, Danielle and I can kind of compile it and have that to review.
Okay.
Okay. What, so we would, if the next meeting is going to be on the 25th of the larger standing committee, Tuesdays, Thursdays are not great for you, right?
Well, late, in the afternoon, I have a standing appointment at 3.
Oh, okay. And how about the other mornings? What might be good? Are we looking at maybe the week of the 17th, the week of the 15th?
So the week of the 15th, I'm clear on the 15th, 17th, or 18th.
Okay.
And 19th, actually.
How's the 17th, Liza, for you?
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are take your pick, the Judiciary Committee. So.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. Oh. So the 18th would definitely be preferable in the morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Danielle, are you okay with? I know that's your probably a remote day, but are you able to log in? Okay. Yeah. Oh, all right. So how about the morning? I can't do the afternoon of the 18th, but the morning of Thursday the 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work for people? What time's good?
It depends on how early. That's my grandchildren morning.
Oh my God, I don't want to interrupt that. How about 11? We can stick with the 11 o'clock time. Did that work?
It works for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do the. Would you be able to send a link around, Damon, or is there anything?
So the only thing is, this is all subject to us being available to stream. So
okay.
I just need to confirm that after the meeting.
Okay. So let's just tentatively set it for the 18th at 11.
And we'll book it for an hour and a half again?
Yeah, I think so. If we finish early, that's fine. But that way, we may have extra time, but. All right, perfect. Anything else or questions or?
I don't think so. I think we're in pretty good shape, actually.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know what, we might even get more people able to attend because they're not having to drive up to Hartford and spend, full days. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, anyone want to move to adjourn? I think we need to do that formally.
So moved.
Oh, so moved.
I'll second.
Second. Okay. I'm sure there's nobody opposed to signing off. All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys very much. And actually, Damon, I'll shoot you a quick email.
Okay.
Or maybe if we're done, we can stop the live link and then I just had